Alright, finally I'm going to finish the simple machine stuff. I'm going to do the last two. I'm going to do wedge, and I'm going to do the screw. And they're both pretty straightforward, so I should be able to polish off in one, like 12-minute video. Alright, so IMA, so reiterating what was said in the last video and what I've said in class, AMA is the same for all simple machines. It's how much force that you get out of it, so like what you're overcoming, force of resistance divided by force of effort, how much you put in. If you're only putting in 100 pounds and you're getting 1,000 pounds out of it, you're lifting something 1,000 pounds and you're only pushing with 100 pounds, it's 1,000 over 100, it's a AMA, a mechanical advantage of 10 to 1. Boom. So here, IMA, it's IMA that's always different. It depends on which simple machine it is. I say it's different, but it's only kinda. I mean, it's always the distance of effort over dr. It's always that, but there are different ways of figuring out what those things are. So that's what I mean when I say it's different. It's dE over dr, but in this case, dE. Well, picture a wedge. Like the picture in the PowerPoint is like an axe, right? And an axe is a wedge. Right, and so picture an axe going to a piece of wood. How far is it traveling? It's traveling the length of the axe. It is traveling this L. So dE is L. How far are you splitting apart the wood? Well, it's being split apart by a distance of H, and that's the resistance distance. That's how far what you're overcoming has to move, and then that's H. So right there, boom, it's just L over H. So if you have a wedge, how wide it is goes on bottom, how long it is goes on top. And so this is what you're pushing, going into the wood or whatever you're wedging, all right? And that's it. That's your IMA. So it is really could not be much easier if you figure it's much easier than the other ones. I would say this is maybe one of the easiest ones. LH, all right? And so just a little clue. Well, heck, I'll just go ahead and read this. I'm not going to say anything, but this is the clue. So you might want to pause it here. This is the clue for the exercise in the big ol' activity. And so you got to use some prerequisite skills from geometry. Pythagorean theorem, of course, I talked about in the previous video. But there you go. Pause it and read that, and that should help you with the activity problem. All right. Screw. So, D for diameter. The pitch is the distance between these. All right, so it's always really small. All right. One spin. Well, you get dE over dr again, but when you spin the screw once, you get pi times d, or 2 pi r. That's how far you go. So the IMA is the effort distance, so it's pi d. Okay, or equivalently, you can figure it out 2 pi r. That's the same thing. So if you know the radius, you use this one. If you know the diameter, use this one. Over dr, which is the pitch. Oops, let me... So pi d over the pitch, or 2 pi r over the pitch. So, well, how do you figure out what those things are? Well, you'll just kind of be told sometimes. And what's up is, well, here's the code. This is one way you're told. Here's the diameter of the screw. This is common like code you'll see. So 1/2. This is threads per inch. And this is not important for what you're going to have to do, but it has to do with how close the stuff is. Of course, or fine, how close the threads are. But anyway, there you go. This is how you read it. So for instance, in this one, how would you figure it out? It would be your IMA for this one would be well, this is diameter, so it's pi times, I'll do 0.5 because it's a little easier to write, and this is equal to 0.5 over, well, yeah, how do you figure? This is threads per inch. It's not the pitch. The pitch is the distance between ridges. Well, if there's 13 of those things in an inch, then the distance between inches would be 1 inch divided by 13 would equal your pitch. So this number, this is the reciprocal of that. You know, you guys, I hope know that word for math. The reciprocal of that will always give you the pitch. So it's 1 out of 13, maybe. And then you can just do calculator time if you're not comfortable with using a calculator with the fraction. Remember, what you can do is you can flip and multiply. So you could write out pi times the 0.5 times 13 over 1. Okay, and then go to the calculator. You get 20.42. Okay, and so there you go. Now the thing is, remember, now there might be the problem on the activity. You don't use your fingers. That's not very realistic. So the diameter might not be D here. It might be much larger if they use, you know, a screwdriver or some sort of, or a wrench, I should say, not a screwdriver. What the heck? A wrench or something along those lines. And so you might have to tweak it. It might not be the half. It might not be this if you use some sort of tool to have a much larger lever, you know, like a much larger mechanical advantage. Okay, you're using a tool like a ratchet or a wrench or something. All right, so there you go. So there is the end of the mechanical advantage stuff.